Hello, beautiful soul sisters. It is Christina Napoleon. I'm still trying to adapt to my lives now being my teaching, my grief training, because I usually do those on Zoom and from my office. My lives were always just spontaneous. They were never rehearsed. They just came from my heart. So the 12 days of Christmas, though, is something that was near and dear to my heart that I wanted to do for our beautiful sisterhood, share my healing tools, healing tips, and but it's so weird to do this and I see the sunshine and the palm trees. Usually I'm in my office for my grief education training or my grief relief group coaching Zoom meetings. So I'm still learning to adapt to this platform, if you will. So I have to shift gears because I was in my office, my home office, writing, and it's going to be a really beautiful session. I want to thank you first before we get started. I want to first also let you know that I'm going to be emotional tonight. I already know that because I already know what's coming. I'm the one who's been writing it, and I'm going to be sharing and teaching everything with you tonight. So I already know it's going to be a very emotional night. But I also know it's going to be a night of healing. And I'm really, 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 really starting to just fill up with so much gratitude because I didn't realize that I needed this myself. As much as I wanted to share this with all of you, I've never done this before. I've never written a program for the 12 days of Christmas. And I first called it self-care, and boy, it's taken a life of its own. And again, I know it's not taking a life of its own. I know it is God. It's all from God, and God is using me as his vessel to bring hope and healing into all of your hearts this holiday season. So I'm so thankful that all of you have been so patient with me as I have pivoted and tweaked the curriculum for the 12 days of Christmas, because I am growing in my grief even with this 12 days of Christmas, and I hope all of you are too. I'm healing as much as you are healing, if not more, because I write for hours and hours and hours, and I rewrite, and then I change things, and I let God guide me. This is always coming from my heart, but I know it's also coming from God and what he feels I need to share today. So, with that being said, as you know, I changed the curriculum on Sunday because I was inspired in church, and I added an extra P. So today we're going to focus on the next few days on the word heal. And we're going to start with the letter H for heal. You're going to see the sunset peeking through here. I'm at a busy intersection, so I'm going to give it just a second before I start the teaching, because I don't know if you can pick up that background noise. I did, if you haven't joined me before, I did share with everyone that I lost all of my earbuds and everything during the flooding, so the storm surges, and I think I ordered a package because it was like 71% off. And I was like, wow, okay. I think I got that package today. So I am excited to finally have that. And it should have a noise reducer in there. But thank you all for now for being so patient and understanding that, number one, I've never really done teachings live. So you've been part of all of my blunders this past week because we're now on day 6. So we're almost 1 week into this. And I think we're like less than a week away from Christmas Eve. So we've got 6 more days together after today. And I'll be honest with you, I think I'm going to be very sad about it because it's given me a new purpose. I was drowning, just absolutely drowning in the aftermath of hurricane recovery because we are still in recovery. We're still demoing. The demolition, every day it just feels like there's more bad news. And today was one of those days where I just wanted to cry. Just wanted to run away. And again, that feeling, I think I wrote about that in one of my posts. The feeling was so overwhelming. I wanted to just get in my car. And I wanted to, I told you I was going to get emotional today. Because when I feel that way, I still see my car, but I also wanted to grab my dog, Ranger. So we've been through a lot this year because at the very beginning of the summer, Ranger, oh my goodness, Ranger. Roger's deep in my heart today as I was writing the contents for our session, but we had to put Ranger down so unexpectedly right at the beginning of summer. He had cancer, we didn't know it, and he collapsed one morning, and that was it. And so today I just wanted to get in my car. I don't have that. My car was totaled in the storm surge, and it was so overwhelming to me, but I could totally see me grabbing Ranger. I could see me grabbing his blue leash, his blue collar, packing his dog food. By the way, I kept all of his stuff and I lost it during the hurricane. But I could see that. I could see me pulling Emma into the car and like, let's just go. Let's go. Have you ever felt that way? And then it hits me. I don't have a car. And today I was not laughing. In my one post that I wrote to you guys about, I wrote about how I was crying so hard, like the ugliest, messiest cry ever. But then I laughed so hard, like a deep down belly laugh, because it was so ludicrous. Like, what on earth? Why would I even imagine? How could I even imagine that I could just get in my car and run away from this hurricane aftermath? I don't even have a car to run away with. So it was one of these mornings that I just have to make really big decisions with everything that has to do with the house. And I don't know anything that they're talking about. I don't know contractor's language, all the electrical and moving this, and I was overwhelmed. So you're going to feel that today in our session. And it's, I think we're going to leave the session with so much love in our hearts and hope in our hearts and sisterhood connection. And I just want to thank you for giving me this space to process these feelings, because these are all losses too. And so for the holidays, the 12 days of Christmas, I'm also grieving Ranger. He went through it. We rescued him when he was 3 years old. He was a German Shepherd, a big boy. And he's been through so much with me and Emma. Like, he was our rock. And we didn't know that we would have to say goodbye to him that morning. And there was another time where it's like Roger should have been there. And why did I have to do that all by myself? So all those emotions came up this morning about Christmas. So it's mine and Emma's first Christmas without him. And we have beautiful Christmas pictures. Every time we would decorate the tree, we would take pictures of him in front of it because he was just such a good looking German Shepherd, and he was so loving and just full of life, and he was so loyal to me. And so I miss that. I miss that when I come home. He was always waiting for me. When I would take a shower, he would always be right outside the shower door waiting for me. Sometimes I would trip over it. So for the holidays, it's not just our husbands that we're grieving. We're grieving parents, sisters, brothers, pets. And it's okay for you to share that inside the group. Our journey, our grief journey, doesn't only have to be about our husband, especially during the holidays. But I digress. And I was just trying to get away from the noise. So I was sharing with you a little bit of my day today, and it turned into a pretty long cry session of me missing my dog and just missing silly things like my car that had to get totaled, and just because that was one of my anchors, and that's going to be in our session. My car was my safety. It's what I could just jump into it whenever I wanted to and get away on the spur of the moment. So it's interesting when you basically lose everything, the things that matter the most to you that you never realized. So this experience has been such an eye-opener for me, and so much of it does remind me of grief. It mirrors my grief of when I lost Roger, when I lost my parents. And look, there's a heart. Oh my goodness. Whew, I got goosebumps. I just love when that happens, when I need those signs the most. Okay, but tonight is about all of you. And it's about healing. And you know what? Sometimes part of the healing is sharing. It's sharing and being vulnerable and opening your heart to others. And thank you again for giving me that space. So like I said earlier, this is new for me to teach and walk at the same time. And I wanted to try to give you the sunset, but I'm in a different part of my neighborhood right now. And I just don't know who are the snowbirds and who would be okay with me, like, just stopping and standing here and doing a live with all of you in front of their house. So what I'm going to do, I don't think anybody's here at this section. So I was trying to get to the sunset. Last night was such a beautiful sunset, but I didn't want to take the chance of doing it 2 nights in a row. And I just shared with y'all that I don't have a car. I lost my car in the hurricane. So I am at the mercy of others right now. So I couldn't get to the beach. And again, I really, 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 if you only knew how much of all days I needed to get to the beach for my own self-care. But it was not a possibility. So we're going to do the best that we can. They had to tear this house down already from the hurricane. Try to see, would you get the sunset here? It's not going to come till 5:35. So maybe I'll just kind of keep walking a little bit. Okay, so day 6, we pivoted this week after church on Sunday, and we're going to focus on the word heal, H-E-A-L. And then the last 2 days will be bonus days. And every morning I wake up and I think I'm like, I go to bed and I think I know what I'm going to write and share with you. And then I always end up rewriting my curriculum, because I have always promised you that I would always share the raw and the real Christina and the authenticness of grief, not false positivity. So for heal today, the letter H is our first letter. And I just wanted to recap what we did the last 6 days. the last 6 days, we focused on the word hope because that was centered around my book. And if you remember, H was part of Heal Your Heart. And hope is rooted in that word. And it's about when we were talking about heal your heart, it was about feeling and how you cannot heal what you don't feel. And today, right now, I'm processing some of my emotions with all of you, and I appreciate you being so patient with me. We also talked about honoring our husband's memory and also honoring our pain. Healing doesn't mean that the grief disappears. It means you're learning to live with it, to tend to your heart, which you each have been doing every single day, and I'm so proud of you, and to nurture your spirit in gentle ways. And then we moved into O, and that was open your heart. And hope invites us to be vulnerable. And I write a lot about vulnerability in my book, in the Open Your Heart chapter. It's saying yes to self-love, connection, and even laughter when those feelings start to come up. Don't shut those down. And opening your heart doesn't mean that you are erasing the love that you once had. It expands the love. And then we moved into protect your heart. And that was the night. I probably will say that has been my favorite night other than Sunday. I'm torn between Sunday. Well, but Friday night was beautiful too. Oh, Friday night was such a beautiful night. I just love every night, I think. I love my time with all of you. I love you all so much. I wish I could convey to you. I wish you could see deep into my heart how much you all mean to me. But I do want to say that was a beautiful night on the beach. The sunset was perfect. I watched the live. I actually went back. I don't usually go back and watch my live. I don't like to hear myself talk. And I will catch every single and sigh and everything that I did wrong, I will catch. So I rarely go back and watch the replays. But I did go back to that one. And I don't know if anybody caught this, but at the very beginning, when I walked out onto the beach, I looked around and you could see it on the replay. I'm like, oh, I wonder which way I should go tonight. And I even said I usually go that way, but there was nobody to the left, which is rare. That's the public beach. And I usually go to the private beach. But nobody was on that side of the beach. So it was the very first time I ever took you on a beach walk on that side of the beach. Now, I could have chosen to go right, which is where I usually go. We would have missed that beautiful, gorgeous sunset. So again, God made sure that I took a left and we were all able to see his beautiful masterpiece that night. So that was all about protecting your heart and setting healthy boundaries and allowing space for hope. And then last night was E, which was encourage your heart. And encouragement, if you remember, encouragement can come from your faith, from community, from within. It's finding ways to uplift yourself through small moments of beauty, peace, and gratitude. And I also like to think that you receive encouragement from our sisterhood community. So now that we recapped the last 6 days, because Sunday was about our faith, and it was about prayers and peace and being present. Oh, we might get a little bit of a sunset here. Ooh, that's beautiful, but I don't know if I'll get yelled at. Once we get yelled at in front of all of you. But today we're going to talk about hope as the first letter of heal. Hope is not just a concept, but it is a lifeline. It is an anchor for our souls when life feels overwhelming. And I'm just like in awe that I wish I really could express to you how overwhelmed I felt today. And then I think because of how I was feeling, this all came up in my writing. And I think it's going to be just beautiful for all of you. I know so many of you that have been in my group, and I see some of you that have been here a long time. Tina is here. She's been with me, I think, from the very beginning. So she's probably been with me 3 years. And she's seen my growth in my grief journey. But those of you that are my OGs, you know that I always compare and use the ocean as a metaphor. And if you're new, this may be something you have never heard before, but those of you that have been with me a while, you'll hear this again, time and time again, because this is absolutely the heart of my grief journey and the healing process of my grief journey. I remember vividly what it felt like to be at the very bottom of the ocean floor. And I really, really wish I could show you the ocean today. I wish I could have had transportation, but I could not make that happen tonight, because I would have pointed my camera to the bottom of the ocean. Because for me, when I moved here and I started to walk the beach, it really hit me. It was so bittersweet. He should have been there with me. We were looking at so many beach towns. I dragged poor Roger all over Florida trying to find the perfect beach town to raise Emma in and to create our life together. And so when I finally did move here, it was just so hard to walk the beach alone and see all those couples at sunset. And so I would look far out into the ocean, and I would just imagine sometimes myself being right there at the bottom of the darkest pit of the ocean floor. It was dark, it was heavy, and I didn't think I could ever move. I felt like I was chained to the bottom of the ocean with an anchor. But one day, I realized I had a choice. I could stay there, or I could start swimming inch by inch back to the shoreline. It was my choice. It was my decision to make. I was so exhausted just grieving, even more exhausted than if I could learn how to finally swim through those grief waves. I don't know if you've ever been out swimming in the ocean, and if you get pulled too far out, especially with the current, it is really, really exhausting to try to swim your way back to the shoreline, isn't it? It's exhausting. But what I realized in that moment, I know the day that I was out there. I know the day that I looked out at that ocean and I realized I was at the deepest, darkest pit of that ocean, and I asked God to please help me. Please help me get through these grief waves. And I realized in that moment that all that exhaustion I thought I used to have swimming through those ocean waves, my grief waves were even heavier. I was carrying so much more weight with grief than if I just tried to swim through those waves myself. So I decided that with God by my side and that hope, I wanted to feel hope again. I didn't want to stay in that darkness. I wanted to see light again. And if you even understand, which I know you all do, you understand this. It's daylight right now, right? Here's the sun, right? There's the palm trees. Here's the green grass. But how many of you actually see that? How many of you even notice the beauty around you right now? Because I didn't. When I was there at the darkest time of my life. I didn't see the green grass. I didn't see the blue sky. I didn't see the blue water. I didn't even see the sunset. My grief was so heavy. It was a curtain over my eyes. It was a curtain clouding my heart. I didn't want to stay stuck at the bottom of that ocean any longer. But I didn't know how to find hope. And I shared with you on Sunday where my hope came from, and that was God. It was in church. And God knew He was calling on me. And I didn't understand why He would be calling on me, because I was at the darkest moment in my life. Why would He be calling on me to serve other widows? To create a widow ministry? Why, God, why? But I poured my heart into learning as much as I could about grief, because I knew I didn't want to stay stuck at the bottom of the ocean. Hope is not the absence of grief or pain. It is the quiet, steady belief that healing and meaning can emerge from the broken pieces of our heart. It is the anchor that keeps us tethered when the storm of loss threatens to pull us adrift. In the grief world, as a widow, hope is not about getting over it. It is also not about returning to life as it once was. And I will be honest with you, I get so upset when I hear other teachings, other grief trainings. Because sometimes I will sign up for other grief, like I did sign up for another holiday grief webinar thing, and I just had to turn it off. And I'm like, this woman has never even grieved the loss of anyone in her life. She came from book smarts. She came from grief education training, but she did not live the life of grief. I couldn't listen to her anymore. My journey has not been about turning the page. Oh no, because grief waves as we know it, it will come when you least expect it. For us as a widow, most especially, what does hope mean? At least for me it did. Hope means caring, love, and loss together. We're not leaving our loved one behind. For me, and for most of you that I know personally through my grief relief group, it's also about discovering a new rhythm when our lives feel shattered, and trusting that even in the darkness, there is a flicker of light. That's our sisterhood, and that's God, and that is hope. Hope doesn't deny the pain, but it allows us to dream of joy again. I gotta turn my page here. I'm sure that's really loud on camera. For us as widows, and again, I'm always speaking from my own experience. You may feel your grief journey is different. Your feelings may be different. I know I'm very, very open and honest about my grief journey and how much I struggled after year one. So for me, what I wanted to focus on tonight was the word hope, because you can't heal without the word hope. And for me, I will be honest with you, I know that my journey, my grief journey and my healing journey will be ongoing. As you saw today, I did not wake up expecting to feel so overwhelmed with all these big decisions with my house, and that's mine and Emma's livelihood. That's everything I've worked my whole life for, and now it could be swept away with decisions I may make that were terrible choices. So grief and healing for me will be a journey the rest of my life. But I can also share with you that hope for a widow, for me at least, is the first time that you smile. It's the first time that you smile, even through the tears. And hope is when it finally feels like, okay, right now, I feel okay. And that is okay. Oh, there were so many groups where all they focused on, it's okay if you're not feeling okay, or whatever that, I don't even remember what the expression was. And I'm like, I want to learn, how do I move forward with hope? I want to find joy. I want to find peace. I want to find light again in my life. So as a widow, what else does hope feel like? Hope is daring to imagine a future, even when it looks different than you expected. Hope is finding pieces of your loved one in the world around you and letting that bring comfort instead of pain. I want to say that one again, because this is so important to be able to move forward with more love and less pain. Hope is finding pieces of your loved one in the world around you and letting that bring comfort instead of pain. I think it was Friday night, our first live, I shared about how find the best qualities that you loved about your husband, about your loved one, and make sure you carry that with you. Roger never knew a stranger. I learned how to be so much kinder because of him. And I started to exude those qualities, the qualities that I loved so much about him, I'm carrying forward into my new life now. And hope as a widow is looking forward to new things in your life. When I had nothing to look forward to, I could not get out of bed. And sometimes it's the smallest little thing, depending on where you're at in your grief journey, of what you are looking forward to. Sometimes for me, it was just knowing that I could get to the beach. I would look forward to that. It gave me a purpose. Walking ranger, he gave me a routine. He gave me purpose. So you have to find in your heart what helps you get out of bed. What gives you that little burst of joy that comes up in your belly? What brings you joy that you look forward to? Maybe this Christmas season, it's your grandchildren's Christmas recital. Maybe one of them is singing in church this Sunday or on Christmas Eve. Maybe you're looking forward to just staying home. Because sometimes, believe it or not, I love that. And I look forward to that. And I crave that. I won't have his Christmas jammies anymore, which makes me still so sad. But I can still watch his favorite movies. And I can still make his favorite meal. And eat that key lime pie that he loved so much. I had no idea when I would buy that key lime pie for him, how much I would talk about that for the rest of my life, about how much. So it's been bittersweet because I've learned to love it. But when he was alive, I never ate key lime pie. I didn't even want to try it. I was like, oh, that just doesn't sound good. And now I've carried that forward with me. The love of key lime pie that he was so passionate about. Hope is also an invitation. In the grief world, hope is not something you have to find all at once. It is something you allow to grow step by step, moment by moment. It's the decision to trust that life can be meaningful again, even as you carry the weight of your loss. As a widow, Hope is an anchor in your storm, just like I went through. Hope is an anchor in your storm and a light on your path. Hope holds space for your grief while gently leading you toward healing. Please remember, if there's anything you can take away from tonight, hope does not mean that all the pain goes away. It does not mean that we will have hard days, as I shared with you today about my day. But it does mean, somebody's stopping. Hello?
What happened to Ranger?
You didn't know Ranger. I had to put Ranger down. Thank you so much for, cancer. Thank you so much for asking. I'm doing a live, and I was talking about Ranger just now. So that was interesting that you stopped to ask me about Ranger. Yeah, it was very unexpected. But thank you so much for thinking of him. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Okay, I need a second. And I didn't want them to see. And so what's happening in my neighborhood is a lot of the snowbirds are coming back. So they didn't know that Ranger is no longer here with us. And I'm so sorry because tonight is about our husbands, and Ranger was my big German Shepherd, but he was my best friend. So it's just interesting timing because I was talking about him earlier in our live, how hard today was, and then they stopped and asked about Ranger. Whew. Isn't it funny? They probably don't know my name. They probably don't know that I'm Christina, but we know each other's pets' names. So, okay, refocus. Where was I? Oh, if there's anything that you're going to take away from tonight, please remember that hope doesn't mean all the pain goes away. It doesn't mean we don't have hard days, but it does mean we have something to hold on to, a promise, a memory, a vision of the future, or even faith in the strength that we didn't know we had. God sure showed me the strength as a widow. That was the hardest thing I've ever been through, were the 2 back-to-back hurricanes and storm surges. Did not know I had a strength like that, but God knew. God gave me super mama powers that I did not know I had. But sometimes, even when we have hope, we feel chained down by guilt, by fear, or sadness, like me today. So today, what I'd like us to focus on is releasing some of that weight, releasing the hopelessness, the darkness, the sadness. I invite you to close your eyes and imagine that you are floating in the ocean. It's a beautiful, calm, sunshiny day. And then, so unexpectedly, out of nowhere, the sky turns dark and cloudy. And the ocean waves start to come closer, and they start to come faster. They quickly intensify, and they start to feel so overwhelming. But this time, instead of feeling anxious or feeling panicked, I want you to know that you have an anchor that you can look for. You have an anchor of hope. That anchor is your hope. And that anchor of hope is what helps keep you steady. Now imagine the anchor of hope holding you steady, but also I want you to picture yourself letting go of the chains wrapped around it, the chains of guilt, the chains of self-doubt, the chains of anxiety. And I want you to say, with every breath, I let these chains sink deeper into the ocean. They don't serve me anymore. What remains is my anchor of hope, strength, and security. I want you to remind yourself that hope anchors your soul. I want you to say, I am steady. I am safe. I am secure. And repeat it over and over again as many times as you need to. And think about what just happened to me. Here I am doing a live, professional, I'm trying to be on my live, and the car slows down. And one of my neighbors asked, "Where's Ranger?" That's that unexpected wave that came and hit me so hard. And my hope right now is my sisterhood. I was so thankful that you guys were right here. You're my anchor. I knew that as soon as they drove off, I knew I could share with you. I could be raw and vulnerable and let you know that it hurt. It hurt to tell them that I had to put him down because of cancer. So I want you to remember that. Hope anchors my soul. I am steady. I am safe, and I am secure. Whenever you feel the darkness fade away, remember to let that sunshine come back in. Feel the sunshine beaming down on your face again. And know that you can truly feel hope and feel safe again. The waves might come. Oops, I thought they were going to stop. I'm sorry. The waves might keep moving, because they will. You saw that happen tonight. Those waves are always going to be moving, my soul sisters. They really, really are. But you're no longer at the mercy of those waves. Your anchor will now hold you safe and steady. So what does your anchor of hope look like for you? Is it faith? Is it a loved one's memory? Is it a future goal? Is it a small daily routine that brings you peace? Is it your morning gratitude prayers? What is your anchor of hope? And if you feel compelled to, you can share that in the chat. I'm not going to look at the chat, as I've told you. I will get distracted, and I want to stay focused because I have something very beautiful written for you. But I'm going to wait for this person to walk by, because I told you all that I get shy. So, whew. Again, thank you for holding space for me. Every single day you've been holding space for me. I thought I was writing this for all of you. Little did I know, I needed you just as much as you needed me. And that's the beauty of sisterhood and connection. So now what I would like to do is I would like you to take a moment to center yourselves. I would like you to invite hope into your hearts. If you feel comfortable, please place both of your hands over your heart or rest them gently on your lap. Close your eyes, unless you want to keep watching the sunset, which I understand. And let's begin. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose for a count of 4. And then I want you to hold it gently for a count of 3. And then as you exhale, exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. This takes practice. I could not get to 6. I started with 2, 2, 2. So do what feels comfortable for you. What's important is I want you to feel your body slow down. I want you to feel your body soften as you let your air leave your lungs and bring in that peace and calmness. So if all you can do is breathe in 2 times and hold it for 2 times and then release it for 2 counts. As you keep practicing these breathing exercises, you will be able to hold it longer. I'd like you to try that 2 more times and do what feels comfortable with you. And next, I would like you to take your next inhale in and imagine a soft golden light, just like that sunset. Imagine a soft golden light entering your body. Tonight, this light represents hope. A steady, gentle strength. Feel it filling your lungs and spreading to every part of your being, like the warm sun rising over calm waters. And now as you exhale out, imagine releasing the heaviness of hopelessness, that dark feeling of hopelessness. Release it. Exhale it out. Exhale out your self-doubts. Release those fears, the despair, all those chains that bind you. Picture these emotions being swept away into the dark clouds. And then watch the sky open up and take all of your worries and watch a light of hope shine through. Now, as you take another deep breath in, I want you to keep drawing in that golden light, which is why I wanted to do this at sunset. And I changed my times from noon to 5 p.m. It's so beautiful to connect together with that beautiful golden light in the background, the sun setting. And then as you exhale, release whatever is weighing you down. Release it out into the waters. Watch it be swept away. Now I want you to visualize your anchor. And I don't know what your anchor is. When we're done, maybe you'll share your anchor in the chat. But visualize your anchor. And when you breathe in, imagine yourself this time in a small, steady boat out there in the ocean. Can you feel the sunshine? Can you hear the waves lapping against the boat? The waves might rise and fall, but beneath the surface... Sorry, that car was about to stop. The waves might rise and fall, but beneath the surface lies your anchor. The anchor is your hope. It is secure. It is unwavering. It is tied to your faith. It is tied to your inner strength. And it's tied to the love that you once knew and will carry forward with you. As you inhale, take a deep breath in and continue to feel that anchor holding you steady, grounding you in peace, grounding you in purpose. And as you exhale, release any fear of being swept away by those grief waves. Trust that you are safe, even in the darkest moments of the grief waves. Now I would like you to picture yourself slowly. I'm sorry, my paper is moving. It's windy. I would like you to picture yourself slowly rising from the ocean floor, your anchor firmly holding you as you swim toward the shore. As you reach the light of the shoreline, imagine a renewed sense of strength and calm washing over you like gentle waves. You are not lost in the deep, dark waters. You are rising, anchored by hope. And as you take one last deep breath in, I want you to practice the breathing exercise again. If you have to do inhales on 2, hold for 2, and exhale for 2. With each inhale, I want you to feel the love, the hope, and the peace within you. Hold it in for just a minute. And as you exhale, softly say to yourself, I am safe. I am hopeful. I am opening my heart toward a life centered around hope and healing. Remember, being at the bottom of that ocean floor doesn't mean it's the end. That's how I felt. Being at the bottom of that ocean floor is where I made the decision to rise. It's where many of us find our greatest strengths. So today, I want to encourage you to keep swimming. Even if it's just one small stroke at a time. Hope is the anchor for our soul. It will never take away the storm, but it keeps us grounded until the waves calm. Now, if your eyes are closed, I would like you to open them. And then if you feel comfortable, I would love to hear what your anchor of hope is. Tonight, for me, when I was in that moment when my neighbors stopped their car and took me by such surprise, because that's grief waves, right? They come when you least expect it. Boy, I'm in the middle of a live. In the middle of doing a healing session with all of you, and I didn't know that they were going to stop their car. I didn't know they were going to ask me, where's Ranger? That was a wave that just came out of nowhere. As soon as they asked, where's Ranger? Whew, it flooded over me. That wave flooded right over me. But my anchor in that moment was you. My sisterhood. My beautiful soul sisters. So if you feel comfortable, I would love for you to write in the chat what your anchor is. And then I'll go ahead and do our daily reflection questions. Because you know me, and you know that I am such a believer in journaling, because you have to feel, you have to process these emotions. You have to feel through the heaviness. That's where the healing begins. I can't see any comments, so I don't even know if there's any comments tonight. There may not be any comments. Let me try. Oh, Jeannie's here. Hi, Jeannie. Jeannie said, yes, I've been out in the ocean spitting the salty water. I love that. Oh my gosh, Jeannie, can I use that? I just love that so much. It wasn't fun. Very, very scary. I didn't mean to undermine your feelings of that. I just love that analogy. Like, it really speaks to me. And a lot of grief stuff doesn't speak to me, but that really spoke to me. So thank you for sharing that, Jeannie. Tina said, OMG, how amazing is that? Oh, you're going to make me cry. I know I had some blunders in here, son. The pages were blowing everywhere. And at one point, I completely lost. And I think I had 2 pages mixed up. So I had to like go completely impromptu there. And then, of course, my neighbors and, you know, just me talking about, oh, how I wanted to get in the car today and drive off. So there was a lot of me and my blunders again in my live moment. So thank you for saying that, Tina. That means so much to me that you said it was an amazing session. Gina sent me hugs. Oh, Jeannie sent me hugs. And Becky is here. Hi, Becky. Becky said, my anchor is my family and God. Yes, absolutely. Tina said, God and a future of joy and peace is my anchor. Yes. Jeannie said, my precious Lord is my anchor. Absolutely. I never would have gotten through the worst days of my grief journey. And I'm not going to say I never would have gotten through my grief journey, because I know that it's a companion. It's going to be there all the time. But thankfully, I had hope that God would get me through the darkest moments of my grief journey. And thankfully, I have healing tools that I can share now with you, and that help me on the darkest days like today. Lynn is here. Hi, Lynn. Lynn said, we've been mostly quiet, listening and learning. Oh, I hope it was a good session for you too. And Kathy said, thank you so much. I'm so thankful that you all accept me as I am. I am far from perfect. And like I said at the very beginning of this live, I have never done teaching while walking and doing a live. It's usually on Zoom behind my desk where I have my notes neatly spaced out and I can stay in a format with my outline. So again, tonight you got to see my pages being blown away, and I had to like speak impromptu with just what was from my heart, especially with the breathing exercises. I realized, oh wow, okay, this is the page I just said. So what happened to the page that's supposed to come? So I hope that it still resonates with you. I still hope that it touched your heart, that it touched your soul, that you feel a little bit better tonight from when you first joined. I hope you feel connected with the sisters here. Kathy said, you are the real thing. Thank you. I think that's a compliment, because I agree. If I couldn't do this as me, oh my goodness, there's no way I could open my heart to all of you if I couldn't show you the good, the bad, the ugly, the messy, and the happy and the joyful Christina too. Linda said, you might not be perfect, but you get all of us. Aw, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you all get me too. And that's a beautiful, beautiful connection right there. Maria said, Cece said, joy, gratitude, and God. Those are her anchors. Yes, absolutely. Yes, 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 yes. It is getting dark and it is 6 o'clock. So I'm going to try to read this in the dark, what the daily reflection questions are. But wow, just look at this masterpiece. God's masterpiece right here, both nights and the night before. He has blessed us with such beautiful sunsets. So have your pen and paper ready. And question number 1 is, what gives you hope when life feels overwhelming? I know a lot of you have answered already, but remember what I've always shared with you. When you sit down and you journal and you process your emotions and you really feel and write them out, that's when so much more is going to come up. So number 2, how can you remind yourself of this anchor during challenging moments? Maybe it's a prayer. For me, it's always a prayer. Number 3, is there a chain weighing you down that you're ready to release? For you, especially during the holidays, it could be a family member that's serving you no purpose. It could be a friend that is just so negative about your grief journey, so judgmental. There's so many chains that I can list that you may not be thinking of, but that's what first pops to my head during the holiday season, are the friends and the family that don't respect our grief journey, that think that we should be over him by now. We should be already moving on. We know that we don't move on. We move forward with more love and less pain. So think about what is an anchor for your heart that gives you hope, and what is a chain that you need to release. Okay. And now that the sun is setting, oh my goodness, look at this. Look at that. If somebody can take a screenshot right now, I would love that. I don't know how to do that from my phone when I'm going live. I'm trying not to get the telephone pole in the shot. Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. I don't know if my live truly paints the beauty that I see in front of me right now, but it is just breathtakingly beautiful. Wow. This is Florida, December, 1 week before Christmas, and I'm wearing shorts and a tank top because it's been very, very warm here. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for giving me space tonight to grieve. It's all those losses, all the secondary losses that come, and sometimes they suffocate you. And I don't ever want you to downplay any of those losses, because all of those losses matter. And I'm so thankful that you're here, because we understand. We know we're walking in those shoes too. The moments that the Christmas recitals with your grandkids or your children like me, where you reach over because you're so proud and you're so excited and you feel this bubble of joy deep in your belly and you reach out. And it doesn't matter. I want you to know. It doesn't matter how many years it's been, because I still do that. I still reach out. I want to go, oh my gosh, look, that's our girl. That's our little girl. All the times I want to say, remember when? He took those memories with him. I'm the only one now that remembers. And that makes me sad sometimes. So I try to share as much of him as I can with Emma, so that his memory, his life continues to matter. So please, please know that you're not living in the past. You're honoring his life. You would not be who you are today without him. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have Emma if it wasn't for Roger. And please remember hope. Hope is your word tonight. Carry hope with you tonight. I hope some of this is helping you navigate these holidays. I've never done this program before, so thank you for allowing me to grow in this journey with all of you. Oh, wow, I'm loving the sunset tonight. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to send you all so much love. And tomorrow night, we're going to focus on the letter E. So I will see you tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a good night.